Hey everybody, it's Norris from the Norris Group. It is October 11th, it's Friday, and did you know that Governor Gavin Newsom signed 18 different housing bills this week? That and way much more as we cover the biggest headlines in real estate. You won't want to miss the radio show and podcast this week. We have episode 2 of I Survive Real Estate. With your help, we raised over $70,000 for charity, bringing our grand total to over $940,000 in 12 years. So we are going to hit that $1 million mark next year. Anyway, up on the podcast this week, we've got Dyke Spotiford and main advice he has for the best ways to learn. Why are bond deals so low considering where unemployment and inflation is at currently? Could interest rates be affected by influences outside of our borders? So all the things going on with China and all the trade talks. How high is the motivation for people to own a home today, and will it stay there or change? And what is the main reason to buy a house today? Don't miss that on the radio show and podcast. And if you go to isurviverealestate.com and hit the video tab, you'll be able to watch the entire thing from start to finish. But this is the only break we get every year, so we're going to take our time and release it a bit at a time on the podcast. Mortgage delinquency rates as a whole decreased 0.3% year over year to 3.8%, putting them at a 20-year low. Despite this, 4 states did post increases, and that's Vermont, New Hampshire, Iowa, and Minnesota. Mortgage applications increased 5.2% from last week, and that's because rates are really low and awesome. Mortgage rates decreased this week again, with 30-year rates at 3.57% and 15-year rates at 3.05%. It's edging towards that 2%. Realogy was on the panel of I Survive Real Estate, and this last week they announced that they just released an iBuying program of their own for 5 of its brands. The program is called RealSure, provides a cash offer and a mortgage for a seller's next home. Realogy is teaming up with Home Partners of America, a real estate investment and management company, to launch the program. RealSure Sell and RealSure Mortgage is the names of the 2 different programs they're working on. So RealSure is now available in Dallas and Denver for home sellers who have a qualified property and use a participating real estate agent affiliated with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA, or Sotheby's International Realty, and those are all under the Realogy parent brand. Over the next month, RealSure will roll out to brokerages affiliated with those brands. And don't forget, Realogy just signed their partnership about a month ago with Amazon and their turnkey program. So it's really interesting to see all these real estate brands adjust to the market. Can't wait to see more. Which metro area in the nation are the most affordable and most family-friendly places to live? Well, Realtor.com took a look at that, and they looked at several factors when they decided this. It includes median home price, school graduation rates, percentages of local residents under 18, and a bunch of other things. But here are the final results. Des Moines, Iowa took the number 1 spot. We've got Cincinnati, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky, Lafayette, Arkansas, Hartford, Connecticut, and surprise, the top 10, California is nowhere to be found. Airbnb has just announced an unusual place that you can stay, the Goodyear Blimp. The catch is it's only available for 3 separate one-night stays, October 22nd to the 24th, and unfortunately, it's going to be grounded. I'm not sure that makes it very cool, but anyway, they've been able to squeeze into a very small space, 2 chairs, several tables, and put in some football knickknacks if you're into that. However, when you're not sleeping, there is a small space outside that you can enjoy. I just don't know. It doesn't seem that cool, but there you have it. Earlier this week, we ran a story that a new bill was currently sitting on the governor's desk to be signed. Well, the governor did much more than just sign that bill on ADUs. He signed a total of 18 housing bills, and let's fly through them. There are plenty of people not very happy with the 18 bills that came out. There's plenty of people that can be upset, including local governments who lost a lot of local control. There's a lot more pressure to get things through the pipeline in a fast manner, and of course no money to help them hire more staff. So it'll be very interesting to see how they launch these, and most go into effect January of 2020. So let's go through them real quick. SB 330, Housing Crisis Act of 2019, AB 1763, Planning and Zoning, AB 116, Bond Financing for Infrastructure, AB 1485, which is streamlining housing development. So the first 5 are really having to do with local governments and speeding up the process and trying to make way for more affordable inventory. AB 1482, that's the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, and a lot of investors were very worried about with this one. It loosened up a little bit, but this is a statewide rent cap impacting homes older than 15 years, containing at least 2 units unless one of them is owner occupied, and that aren't currently regulated under the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act. Rent increases are limited to 5% plus CPI, so single-family residents, condos, and townhomes are exempt unless it's owned by a REIT, corporation, or LLC. So one of the things we're working on right now is for the newsletter covering all these in detail, but also for our brunch next week, our financial tactics brunch, because does that mean that if you hold properties in an LLC and you've got all this fantastic estate planning, if you're going to be impacted by this, we are going to find out. Just cause evictions were also dealt with, and they loosened up a little bit to not be so crazy, which is really good. We've got AB 1255 and 1486, which has to do with surplus public lands, SB 6, which is the Residential Land Development Bill. SB 751 creates the San Gabriel Regional Housing Trust to finance affordable housing projects. AB 1483, which requires local jurisdictions to publicly share information about zoning ordinances, development standards, fees, and extractions. So the state is actually going to start paying a little bit more attention, more pressure at the local level to make sure they're doing affordable housing. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. AB 1010 updates eligibility for affordable housing programs. AB 1743 expands the properties that are exempt from community facility district taxes. SB 196 enacts a new welfare exemption from property tax for properties owned by a community land trust. And when it comes to ADUs, quite a few. AB 68 reduces barriers to ADU approval and construction. AB 881 removes impediments to ADU construction, streamlines ADU construction when they're built inside a garage, and eliminates owner occupancy for that 5-year mark. This was a little bit of a bummer. There was 2 bills that were trying to get rid of the owner occupancy requirement everywhere, but as it stands now, this one is through. SB 13 did this as well. Starting in January of 2020, if cities have an owner occupancy requirement, it is gone for at least 5 years. AB 587 provides an exemption from affordable housing organizations to sell deed-restricted land to eligible low-income homeowners. And SB 13, that was the big Wachowski one we've been talking quite a bit about. It creates a tiered fee structure which charges ADUs more fairly based on their size and location, because let's be honest, some of these impact fees have gotten absolutely bonkers. The bill also addresses other barriers by lowering the application approval timeframe, creating an avenue to get unpermitted ADUs up to code, and enhancing an enforcement mechanism to allow the state to basically get cities in trouble when they're being difficult and not approving your ADUs. So that is very exciting. And finally, AB 671 requires local governments' housing plans to encourage affordable ADU rentals and requires the state to develop a list of state grants and financing incentives for affordable ADUs. So, investors really pay attention to the local, county, and state level, because they might be developing some programs, and it's not just the housing and the development departments that might have it. Your local utility might have some as you're building these. Just keep your eye out for local money, call that local planning department, and ask them specifically if there are any incentive programs, utilities, or housing related. You never know what you might find. So what do you think? Do you think these bills are going to be helpful? Are they going to move the needle when it comes to affordable housing and our shortage of 1.5 million to 3 million that we're missing out on? I would love to hear what you have to say. If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a beat. If you're on Facebook, please don't forget to not only like the Norris Group page, but don't forget to add us to your See First list and with notifications on. Leave your comments below the video, and if we miss something, share the story on our comment sections on either YouTube or Facebook, and we'll make sure to include it on our blog at thenorrisgroup.com/blog. We would love to see you out and about at some of our final events for the year. October 16th, 10 decisions to make before the next downturn. I believe this is the last time you're going to catch us in the Inland Empire. That's at KW Corona. October 19th, the Cutting Edge Financial Tactics Brunch. This is where we've got Keystone CPA, UDirect IRA, Barth Calderon, so an attorney, a CPA, 1031 exchange, UDirect IRA, all beating up your most advanced estate planning questions, and especially with the new 18 bills that went through, lots of questions are going to be there. It's the most advanced estate planning thing we offer, and it's very inexpensive, so we are probably going to sell out. So if you're interested, sign up this weekend so you don't miss it. October 30th is 10 decisions to make before the next downturn with South OC RIA out in Orange County. And February 1st, please mark your calendars. Turmoil, the coming storm of negative interest rates. This is a timing event with the Norris Group, an all-day event in Riverside. We haven't released it officially yet, but just mark your calendar for February 1st. We would love to see you. With that, for information on hard money loans, including fix and flip, buy and hold, and new construction, check out the NorrisGroup.com and hit that hard money tab. We have programs in California and Florida that are a little different. And now it's appropriate to say our accessory dwelling unit second program is available. If you're a landlord and have some existing inventory you'd like to build these on, please give us a call and we'll tell you how you can do that at some amazing rates. It's a 3-year program at 9.9%, and it doesn't trigger funds control, so I think you're really going to be excited about it. For more information about passive investing with trustees, check out tngtrustees.com or on the norrisgroup.com. Just hit that invest tab. With that, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week.